I hope we have been following so far, and in this video I'm going to be talking about length. So I know earlier I said something about I'm going to do a special video to talk about length, so that is what I'm doing now. So when it comes to length, I'm going to start from the very basic thing you need to know. After knowing the basic thing, I'm going to go next into the street things that happens on length. So when you know all this knowledge, you should know what and what to communicate to your customer, or you should know what and what to advise your customer to go for. Okay, so now first, when we talk about, let me pause this, is straight hair. Okay, when we talk about length, how do we get length? The very first time is by using a tape rule. I know we have a tape rule, and using the inches part of tape rule to get your length. So when they say a hair is 8 inches, that means when you measure it with your tape rule, you're supposed to get 8 inches. When they say the same thing for 10 inches and the rest, so that is the first thing to know about length. So your tape rule is used to measure length. And sometimes when customer even tells me, where am I sure that this 8 inches will reach? Because the truth is that a length of hair would not reach the same thing for everybody. Why? Because everybody's facial structure is different. Some people have long face, some people have long neck, some people have round and chubby face. So just imagine that length of hair. It cannot be the same for everybody. So sometimes when some people say, I need to know where the length will reach, I'll tell them to use tape rule to measure, to know where it will reach. So as we're just in this video, let me use this, for example, the hair that I'm wearing. Okay, so now this hair, I measured it from the top of my head and took it down, and it actually stopped at 27, but I'm wearing a 26 inches hair. So is it 26? Yes, I think it's 26. Yes, I remember. It's 26 inches hair. And I brought some hairs I'm going to be using to do example for us. So when it's bundles and it's straight hair, it's very, very easy to use tape rule to measure and get it. But when it comes to coily hairs, wavy hairs, yes, the dynamics are slightly different. So sometimes in the hair industry, that's where you face more challenges, because when you sell coily or wavy hair, people might start doubting you. You do not give me the right price, the right length. And because of that, even in Jiffy Wigs, what we do is that once we want to conclude a sale, especially on coily hair, we already have a length chart that we'll send to you and tell you this is where your hair is likely to reach when you are going for straight coily or the rest. Let me see if I can quickly dig that video up. Back to what I was explaining about length now. So I'm going to show us a video. Not a video, a picture. Okay, so can we see this hair? So see a straight hair, see a wavy hair, see a coily hair, and I'll share the chart with us in our group. This is where 10 inches is reaching. This very first line of a straight hair is likely to reach on this same person. See where a wavy 10 inches is reaching. Can you see it's higher? Then see where a coily 10 inches is reaching. So just imagine all the life of somebody. They've been buying a straight hair and they've been buying 10 inches. Then they now come to buy coily from you and now tell you, I want coily 10 inches. And you give them something that reaches here. It's going to cost more. So that's something that happens in the hair industry. And why is this? Because every hair is measured straight. They first measure it straight before any coil pattern is created on the hair. So as a newbie or an old bee, we have helped you to solve that problem. In advance, you can even communicate these things to your customers to avoid drama or to avoid return, exchange, blah, 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 blah. We all know how Nigeria is now. Those days, suppliers exchange a lot. But nowadays, they don't used to exchange anything. Anybody that is doing exchange or things that we collect, some people collect back or we ourselves collect back, is your own money you have used. Nobody's going to refund you any money. So, and in advance, to avoid those dramas, just communicate right to the customer. So now, as I said, measuring with tape rule. So now we have understood in terms of bundle. So for bundle, it's a simple straight, a simple way to go about it. So, and that means you will pull the hair. Let's say it's a coily hair. You pull the coily hair before you measure it to get on the tape rule. Sometimes even when you pull it, it doesn't even get there. But there's some things I do, and that's the reason why you even need mentoring. There are some suppliers, they are very, I use the word corny. They lie a lot. So, and when I'll be sharing some of the contact, I could just tell us about some of the suppliers. So they would, if you try to measure that they are 10 inches hair, you'll be measuring 8, but they are making their mind that is how they are selling it. And the quality is nice, because this thing actually happened to me to a particular supplier. Most times people like to buy this particular supplier's hair, and every time I notice that his prices, the length doesn't match. So I even wanted to stop doing business with him, which I even stopped. So I stopped posting things from that particular supplier. And I realized that my old posts that I posted of his own products, people will still be asking for that thing. So I now say, should I now lose sale because of this dubious supplier? So what do I do? And I said, okay, since people even still like this thing, but I don't want anybody to drag me that I don't give them the right length. So I changed the length myself. So every time he gives me price list and say, this is 8 inches, I will just say this is 6 inches. Every time he says this is 10 inches, I'll just say this is 8 inches. Just to avoid people seeing me as the person being dubious, because I decided to do business with him. But when it comes to the quality, the texture of the hair, it's always rich. And another thing I noticed about him too is also when it comes to gram. If you tell you it's 300, just tell your customer 200 because it's you that they know, it's you that they will fight with. So those are the ways you can also deal with some people that are being dubious and you don't want to hurt yourself or hurt your brand, because some people, they don't even mind all these things. So another challenge or another thing you're going to see in the field when it comes to length is factory made wigs. So most times factory made wigs are always shorter than the length they claim they are. Because now, because sometimes customers tell me I want a particular hair to reach somewhere, I tell them to put the tape rule on their head and measure it. And if they do that, sometimes factory made wig can come and not give you that length, even when it's straight. And what I now realized, and in advance, depending on how the customer is making noise about the length of hair, you need to communicate that to her. So this particular hair now, see, I brought it out on the body, reaching 12 inches. See where it's reaching. Because it's not styled actually, it's a straight hair. But normally, a 12 inches hair should reach longer than that. This is a tape rule now. And most times, how do you really get the real length of a hair? You have to take somewhere. Okay, I think I need to use a bundle to measure. Can you see this is the weft? So you have to take one strand that is like from beginning to end and put your tape rule. That's how you can know the length. So this one that says 12 inches, we just measured it now. And it's stopping in 8.5. So 8.5. But sometimes you can even explain to the customer, because it's a bob hair, maybe they cut it. So and the customer will now say, okay, let us go to the down and measure. This is how the down looks. It's quite short. So now it's not even looking like 12 inches. But if they wear it, it will reach somewhere around their neck or here, depending on their facial structure. But one thing I've now come to realize is that, because this one nobody even taught me, now common sense I shall use, is that factory usually measure this hair from tip to bottom. See where I put my tape rule before they cut it. So if you see now, it's reaching 12. Can you see? It's reaching 12. But some people that used to do over sabi, they will not believe you. So if you realize that a customer is talking too much about length and you have this knowledge, you need to communicate it to the customer. So when it's a factory wig, just tell the customer they are going to measure the hair from top. So it's not from down. That's where the 12 will reach. So there's something about telling someone ahead. So when the person even gets it, the person will not have any form of issues with you. And secondly, to make the person to make the right decision. That means the person will not go for the 12 inches they want to go for. They should maybe go for 14. You get? Or probably, if you know you did not talk on time, you can decide to use your own money to go for 14, because you now know that 12 will be short. To avoid back and front, return, bring back, and all of that. So that's why I'm like, this lectures is important. Reason being that the energy, you are just one person that you should be spending to get more sales. If you are using it to drag with a customer, bring back, take back, bring back, you will not meet your target. So please pay attention to length, understand it, communicate it when dealing with customers, especially all those nitty-gritty difficult ones, to save you all the drama and stress that you will face in the future. So what else again is there to mention about length? Okay, I've talked about how different types of hairs can affect length. So when it's straight, coily, so especially coily, before you conclude on the sale, or as a salesperson, I'll say when you conclude, but before you place your order or before you start shipping. Reason why I say conclude, because some people are not serious and they'll just waste your time, you just explain and you just realize they're not ready to pay. So when you have collected the money, that means there's a sign that this person is serious and have purchasing power. You cannot take out the time to explain to them, but before you ship. So because at that point, if they not say they don't want that length, they can just add money, and you know that you just only be taking the right decision to ship the right things to them. You get, than they've gotten it and now start complaining, there's not a whole drama. And in that case, you will know that, okay, this person is a serious buyer, that I'm using my energy and my knowledge to teach the person. You understand? So, and the truth is that once they've done business with you once and they've gotten all those knowledge, they would understand and they will know, and they will know what to prepare and see. It will position you as someone that has knowledge. So when they want to buy, they are buying from you because they trust that you have their interest at heart. So now in this video, I know I've captured how to measure basic length first. I've captured how to know the difference between different types of hairs and their lengths, so that you can convey it to customers. Then I've captured how to also communicate to customers factory wigs, how the lengths usually come, because if you use your own 12 inches bundles to make the hair, it will be way longer than a factory made hair, because factory, before they cut the hair, they are going to measure it from top to bottom to cut. Unlike your normal 12 inches, you just measure the bundles. But give me 1 minute, let me bring bundles to explain. So now this particular bundle I brought now is 18 inches, okay? So see, it's 18 inches. Okay? So I will show us how to measure it. Now, this is your tape roll that starts with 0. Then you will see 18. See where it reaches 18. Sure, you can see. So just imagine you put 18 here. See where the 18 as a bundle is reaching, longer than my 26 inches hair. But you know, when wigging hairs, when they are wigging a particular hair, they are likely to, like now you start wigging the hair, it's reaching down here. And before you come up, see where it will reach. So at the end of your wigging, they are likely to trim the hair to be equal. So plus or minus 18 inches will now reach here. But with a factory made wig, they will finish wigging everything plus your closure, lay it flat on a table before they cut off the excess after using tape rule to measure. So that's why it usually look a bit shorter. So I believe with all this explanation, we understand properly. And if you don't, feel free to ask in the group, because this money and our target, we're meeting it this year.